Hello everybody, welcome to a new video, and in this one we're going to be taking a look at the AI render add-on for Blender, and specifically how we can use that with our Lego renders to enhance them or change them entirely, to be fair. So let's get started. We're going to need the add-ons first, of course. So this is available on Gumroad or Blender Market. I'll leave a link for both, of course, in the description. I have already downloaded this before, obviously, but I will go through it again just to show you guys the setup of it and everything. So if I download this, save as, download zip folder, and then if I go into Blender now, and then go edit, preferences, add-ons, install, then download AI render, and then I've of course got it already enabled, but you'll have to tick that box. And then we'll need to do a bit of setup first. So there are two ways to use this add-on. The first is to use Dream Studio, which is a free website to generate AI images. Now there are a few downsides to this, in that you only get about 200 generations for free, and after that you have to pay. Now there is a way to get this add-on to work in unlimited free rendering, but you will have to set that up on your own machine, and it requires a bit more extra steps, which I won't be going through in this video, but I will in a later video after this one has gone live. Now, you've got an API key here. You won't come to the screen straight away, but you'll have to make an account first, but then you will, and you'll see that you've got an API key here. You need to copy this and go back into Blender. Paste that in this API key box, and then we should be good to go, hopefully. So let's go to Megabricks to get a model. I've already got one set up, and we're going to be using dye fader, so hopefully we can generate some cool looking stuff with that. So I'm going to save that as dye fader in my downloads folder. Obviously you can save it wherever you want. And back in Blender, let's import this. Downloads, dye fader, import. Now, to use this add-on, you obviously need a subject in your scene. That is the important thing. What your scene looks like, what you've got in there, doesn't matter as long as you've got something in there for the add-on to work with. Now, to use this, you need to go into your render properties, and you can use this with either Eevee or Cycles, doesn't matter. And if you scroll down, you've probably already seen it here. So a box called Enable AI Render to be able to use this in your scene. And now, for this to work, you kind of need to use smaller file sizes, image sizes, if you will. So the default they recommend is to use 512 by 512. So let's use that. Now, if we get a camera set up, let's just set this up properly. Let's set it up so we can see what we're looking at. Okay, there we go. That should do. Now let's just look at the options that we've got here. So the first thing you've got is a prompt. This is kind of, as you can see here, it says describe anything you can imagine. So let's think of something random. Let's say dye fader as a samurai. Okay, and now you've got your presets here, which is kind of your, if you look here you can see you've got all these different art styles to use. So I'm going to use this one. I think this will probably fit in well. So let's just hit render on this, see what we get started. So you can see it starts to render out. Hopefully my Blender doesn't crash here. It could well do that. Come on, Blender. Don't die on me. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so it did it a bit quickly there, but you can see it doesn't just go straight to this. What it does is if we meet this, so if we look in composites tab, we've got a node group here, which is essentially your image. So here we've got our image that we've made, and if we press M on this, you can see it's given us what it's decided to make with this. Now you've got some more options here. You've got random seed, which is of course your generation of it, which will kind of change what it'll change each generation, if you will. And now these are options. These options are the ones you want to play with. There are a few here as well which I haven't really played around with, but hopefully it shouldn't make too much of a difference. And now we've got three different options. We've got image similarity, which is kind of how close the end result will be to your original image. So we can see here, if we look at here, it says values around 0.1 to 0.4 will turn simple renders into new creations. Around 0.5 will keep a lot of the composition and transform into something like the prompt. 0.6 to 0.7 keeps things more stable between renders. Higher values may require more steps for better results. You can set this to 0 to use only the prompt. So if we set this to 0 to use only the prompt, this will kind of generate the scene from the prompt and the style instead of using the scene. So instead of re-rendering this out, what we can do is we can go down to operation and we can say new image from last render. So this will use the same render but apply a different will apply a new thing to it. So you can see there we've got, so this has used the prompt entirely, and you can see we've got a more realistic looking Darth Vader. But if I wanted to make this more like the scene, let's say we turn this up to 0.5 and then use the same option again, we should get something that looks quite a lot closer to Lego Darth Vader. And you can see it's done something quite weird there, but you can see it's definitely got some resemblance to Lego Darth Vader. Now, steps is how, so values closer to 0 will be further away from your image. Values further away from 0 will be closer to your image. If that makes sense. So if we go to 0.3, you can see it's done, kind of gone for more of a realistic looking Darth Vader here, with a floating lightsaber for some reason. Now steps is kind of how much effort it will put into each generation, if you will. So if we look at this, it says values in the 25 to 50 range generally work quite well. So if we turn this up to 50, oh, not 100, that's way too high. So this is how much effort it's going to put into this to make a new image. So there you can see it's done quite a bit more effort into that one. So if we go down, take this down to 25, you can see it's going to put way less effort into this one. And it's kind of just done it as quickly as possible. And now your prompt strength, this is a bit different. This is how closely the text prompt will be followed. So if we turn down to 0, this will just use the text prompt, if I remember things rightly. So you can see it's just kind of used the text prompt and kind of just gone with its own imagination. So if you look at this, it says how closely the text prompt will be followed. Too high can overcook your image. Negative values can be used to generate the opposite of your prompt. So if we go down to -7 for example, let's see what it thinks the opposite of Darth Vader as a samurai would be. So it's decided that the opposite of that is just a black hoodie, for some reason. So you can see that generates very different results to what your text prompt says. If we go to 14, which is higher, that'll favour the scene more than it will favour the prompt. So you can see it's a lot closer to what our scene looks like, but it also kind of uses the prompt as well. So if we turn this to 0.5 for example, and there you can see we got pretty close to Lego Darth Vader there, didn't we? Let's turn this to 50. Let's see what we get from that. And there we go again, we got quite close to Lego Darth Vader. Generates some pretty cool stuff there, doesn't it? So really the main thing to keep in mind with this is your prompts. The better your prompts, the better your images, and the better your and the more you play around with these settings, the better results you'll get, and probably the more wacky results as well. So that there is another option here for animation as well, but this is quite a new feature, which is not something I've played around with just yet. But if I do play around with it, I might make a video on it, but we shall see for now. So that'll be it for this video. In the next video I'll be showing you how to set up the Stable Diffusion locally so you can use this add-on infinitely for free forever. So that'll be it for this video. Peace out, bye bye.